Is this newer Google AI tool better than its own Gemini model? We're going to take a look today at some new features from Google's Notebook LM, show you maybe how and why and when to use these features and compare them. Is this actually now Google's best AI tool available for everyday people? I think you're going to be surprised. We're going to do this live. This is unedited, unscripted. This is Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson. I'm the host of Everyday AI. We're a daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter helping everyday people learn and leverage generative AI to grow their companies and careers. So if that sounds like you, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, all that good stuff. Let me see what you want to know more about. So let's talk about this. This is Notebook LM, which I've done a couple of video reviews on before. I am a huge fan of this tool. I think people are sleeping on it, but they just announced a couple of new features. One is audio overviews, which we already did a review on, but I want to talk about two new features. So one is the ability to upload now audio files, which as someone that has a daily podcast, that's huge. And then number two, the ability to use YouTube. All right. And then we are also going to try to do this at the same time and compare this inside Google Gemini. So as far as I know, Google LM is powered by the Gemini models, but it seems like it seems like Notebook LM is maybe more powerful than the big boy, than the Google Gemini. And I'm like, yo, let's do a test. All right, so here's what we're going to do. In this, think of whatever your use case may be for this before we dive in. So in my use case, it's going to be putting a lot of transcripts, videos, podcasts, and then essentially creating a knowledge base. So think if you could create a knowledge base for your company and to be able to draw specifics out of there, right? So this is huge. So here's what we're going to do. I do a weekly segment most Mondays here on Everyday AI called AI News That Matters. We just recap the news for the week. We've done this dozens of times. So I'm going to grab some transcripts, some web pages, some videos, some audio. We're going to go by quick and we're going to test because I really want to see, is Google's Notebook LM actually better? So let's find out. A couple of things to note here, and this is why I'm going to be jumping around windows. So, right now, we have Google Workspace. So this is my business account. So I pay for this. I pay for Google Advanced. However, I do not have access to YouTube. So if I go in here in extensions, it just gives you access to Google Workspace. And I've done reviews on this before and it's finicky. It doesn't actually work very well. So I'm actually having to use my personal Gmail account, which is still, I'm on the paid plan, but it is a Gmail account versus a Workspace account. So as an example, this email is at gmail.com, whereas this email is through one of my other companies, Accelerant Agency. So Google Workspace, you'll see, I don't know why. I go down here to settings, extensions, and I have access to YouTube as an example. And even though we have a paid plan over here as well, we have all extensions enabled, it's not available. So I just wanted to let you know that's why I'm kind of jumping between accounts. All right, enough chit chat. Let's go into it. So also worth noting, there's way more features available in Google's AI Studio. AI Studio is great, but for front end customers, everyday people, most people are using just Gemini like this. So we're doing front end tools only. So let's dive straight into it. So let's try website links. All right. So I'm going to grab these last two AI News That Matters. All right. So I'm going to grab this one from 3 or 4 days ago. Click insert. All right. And you'll see Notebook LM starts chomping it up. All right. And then I'm going to do this one. The next one here, I'm going to click plus sources. I'm going to go click the website, add it. All right. So you'll see in Gemini, I can't do that. Right. So I'm going to go to new chat here. And as far as I know, I haven't tested this in a couple of days. Gemini can't go here. So to make this kind of a fair comparison, I'm going to say, please recap this page, which I don't believe will work. All right. And you'll see here, if I go to add files, there's no option for a URL. So already +1 for Notebook LM. And you'll see here, Google Gemini lets me know, hey, I can't actually go to a website. Bummer, right? All right. So let's go back to Google LM. So now, you know what? Maybe to make this a fair comparison, let's just go ahead and put this, and I'm going to say, please recap this. All right. And it looks like I can't. Okay, I can there. All right, so I just pasted in that entire transcript. So then we can at least see if Google Gemini can recall all this information. So I'm going to say, please recap this. So now we did 2. Looks like it didn't go. Please, I'm going to try it one more time. Please recap this. I hit enter too quickly. There we go. It didn't paste. All right. So now we at least have that content in the context window of Google Gemini. All right. So now let's do a couple YouTube videos. All right. So now I'm going to move this over. So also, if you didn't know, on our website, you can listen to the podcast on our website. You can read it, or you can watch the YouTube video. So now I'm going to, let's see if I can just paste it. Okay. So I can copy the link here. So now I'm going to go in here, and I do have like I said, I have the YouTube extension here. So it says discover YouTube videos and get answers from them. So now I can do, I'm going to go back to that same chat. Here we go. So I'm going to say, please recap this video. All right. And then I'm putting in the YouTube URL. And now I'm going to do the same thing in, sorry, I got a lot of windows open here. So now I'm going to add this as my next source. So YouTube video, bam, there we go. All right. And then I'm going to do, we'll do this one here. I'm going to do the same thing, grab this YouTube video, copy video URL. There we go. I'm going to say, please recap this in Gemini. There we go. I'm going to go back into my NotebookLM. I'm going to add that as a source, another one, YouTube, and bam. All right. So now we have in NotebookLM 2 URLs and 2 YouTube videos. In Gemini, we had to paste in the content for the 2 URLs, and it does look like it got the 2 YouTube videos. Okay, there we go. YouTube video 1 and YouTube video 2. So now we're even. All right. So now here's the thing. We can now do. Let's do this. We're going to add. All right, it's taking a second here. My computer's sometimes weird. Okay, I can add 2 I can add 2 at once, which is great. Okay, so it looks like I did 305 and 319. So let's go grab those same ones. So let's go 305. Where are we? Here's 319. All right, and then let's do 305 as well. So we can't upload audio inside. I don't think so. Upload files. I mean, let's see. I don't think we can. No, we can't. All right. So we can't upload MP3s. So I guess to make that fair, what we'll do then for those 2 audio files, let me just double check which ones we had, 305, 319. We're going to copy and paste all this information into Gemini. So I'm going to say, please recap this. There we go. There's 305. And then here's 319. Got a lot of episodes, y'all. So I'm going to do the same thing. Please recap this. All right, so we'll let Gemini finish. So here's the thing. I'm trying to make this as apples to apples as possible, but Google Gemini does not accept web page URLs. So +1 NotebookLM. Google Gemini, I cannot upload audio files. And I can inside NotebookLM, so +1 NotebookLM. All right, so you'll see here, I have all my sources over here on the left-hand side in NotebookLM. And for a lot of things, I've had to manually paste them into Google Gemini. All right, so just like that, let's go ahead and ask some questions. So we're going to ask these same questions across NotebookLM and then Google Gemini, and we're going to see which one provides more accurate and detailed summaries. So I'm going to say, please tell me the top 5 news items about OpenAI. And I'm going to say, please be specific and talk briefly about the context. All right, so now you'll see NotebookLM kind of clears away the interface, which I kind of like, and then it's going to go through here take its time. I want to be able to show you this part live. So we're not, showing this sped up. This isn't edited. It's not scripted. Like I said, I didn't pre-run these. I'm doing this literally for the first time. All right, so let's see. All right, so did a pretty good job. Yeah, so some of these were obviously from a couple of months ago. So I'm not asking for the most 5 recent. I'm saying, hey, what are the top 5 news items about OpenAI? So I'm checking for accuracy. So you'll see here, one thing I love about NotebookLM is it gives you the sources. So I can hover over and it gives me the exact transcript. So let's go ahead and click. I wish it told me, oh, there it is. Okay, so it told me that is from the transcript. So that's from the MP3. Number 2 source, I scroll to the bottom. That's the MP3. Let's see, that's 2. Let's look at 3 here. That is, I can't see because my screen share is in the way. Let me put that up. So source number 3, I think that's the web page. Okay, so you'll see here it's sourced, it's cited. It is really, really good. So I can click this, number 12, and then it takes me to that exact source to which it summarized to give me that answer. Obviously, super impressive. All right, so here we go. I'm going to copy and paste this same thing into Google Gemini. So it says here are the top 5 news items about OpenAI with brief context. So let's see. So it talks about the O1 model, 4.0 mini, ongoing legal battles. Okay, so this is pretty good. However, I don't even know if Google is pulling this randomly from the internet or if that's from those actual sources. So I am not sure. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to ask a specific question about what was said about YouTube subtitles, and that's it. So what was said in the context above about YouTube subtitles? All right, so now we're doing a specific question. So again, think of what you might be using this for. All of the information that you use for your job, right? You probably refer to a lot of documents on an ongoing basis. Probably you do a lot of, website research, YouTube. Maybe you listen to podcasts. Maybe you listen to your everyday AI. So think of all the different use cases for this. And I'm asking now about going in the context. So let's see. In the context above, it was mentioned that tech giants like blah, blah, blah were accused of illegally using YouTube subtitles to train their AI. All right, let's see what this one says. YouTube site. Okay. So the Notebook LM was much more specific. And again, with citations and 2 different citations here. So it looks like both of them got it correct. So that's good to know. So now I'm going to ask maybe a different question. I'm going to say, please tell me what's happening with Apple and give me a timeline for developments on their AI. All right. I don't even know which episodes had this information. So this should be a little enlightening to see what we do here. Okay, so here it is. It's saying here is the sources say about Apple and their AI development timeline. All right, so Apple is shifting its focus towards software and AI to drive revenue growth. Yep, that was from a podcast recently. Here we go. Something about Apple in the EU Act. Okay, good. So we got good responses. All right, here we go in Google Gemini. Okay, so here we go. So I can already tell, which may be a good or a bad thing. So I already know that Google is pulling in some information that Gemini is pulling in some information that I don't believe were from my sources, right? So if you think of this, think of like mini RAG, right? Like retrieval augmented generation. You can't really control or know right now on the Google Gemini front end if it's getting that information from the context window of all these things that I shared, or if it's pulling in from its knowledge base. Okay, so now at the bottom here, okay, so this is good. It didn't do this the previous times. So now I can tell it's going and it's getting outside information because it says sources and related content right here. So it's not using the information that I told it to use. Although I did not ask it to use just the content from the chat. So that's important. So now I'm going to say using only content from this conversation. Tell me the big moves Nvidia and Microsoft have made recently. That's all I'm going to say. All right. And again, here I'm saying using only content from this conversation. All right. So then that way, hopefully it's not pulling in outside information from the web, because again, this is an example to show you what it can do with your information. All right. So, okay, here we go. I can click learn more. So again, this might be good, it might be bad. Here I am clearly telling Gemini to just use information from this conversation, and it is doing the exact opposite. So at least here on this instance, it's telling me where it's from, so I can toggle this on and off, right? But again, none of this was in the context that I shared with it. It's actually pulling all of this information from other places, even though I know in this content that I gave it, there's plenty of information about Nvidia and Microsoft, all right? So now let's jump into NotebookLM, and here we go. It's giving some information about Microsoft, and it looks like it didn't bring anything in for Nvidia, but at least we have some things here with Microsoft, and we can click and find the source as well. So there you have it. A pretty in-depth, yes, this was a little scrambled, but I just wanted to show you the differences. And I think, y'all, I think people are sleeping on NotebookLM. It is so good, especially when you want the best of what a large language model has to offer, right? Essentially this, human level ability to, kind of ingest all of this knowledge and synthesize it and answer questions. Like, the thing that I love about NotebookLM is it gives you sources, and look at all the different ways that you can bring in your information. It took hours of podcast transcripts, YouTube videos, and it gives me actual citations. This is so powerful. Whereas, Google Gemini, it didn't really do what I told it to. I don't even know if it accurately went through the YouTube videos, which, hopefully it did. I can't upload those files. It can't access certain websites. I mean, y'all, I think NotebookLM is one of the most powerful AI tools since ChatGPT. And I am not saying that lightly. And also, let's be honest, I've been hard on the front end product of Google Gemini, because if I'm being honest, I don't think it's that great. I don't use it a lot. Yes, I think the Google AI Studio is fantastic, but a lot of these features and even the models, right? You don't have access to those in Google Gemini, and you actually don't know, right? All they tell you is you get 1.5 Flash or 1.5 Pro. This is on a paid account, but I do believe, and I've seen Google staff say that these models are the ones that are 3 to 6 months behind, right? So even, Google Gemini had a big August update. I don't even think that we have access to that in the paid version of the front end of Google Gemini. So you really have to understand what model you're getting with Google Gemini. Well, don't know. All right, there's many different variations of 1.5 Flash and 1.5 Pro. And also, can it handle your information? And if you give it your information, if you give it content and context, will it just pull from that, or will it pull haphazardly from its training data or from the web, right? So, what's curious here is I specifically gave Google Gemini URLs. It can't do that. Yet, when I told it just to use the content that I shared with it, it went out and pulled other information from the web. So I'm not a big fan on how unsteerable Google Gemini is. Like I said, Google AI Studio is great, but again, there's all these different models, 1.5 Flash, 1.5 Pro. Like, which one are we getting in Google Gemini? I don't know. I think we're getting this original one, not the 0827, which is great, not this new one, 002. So, Google Gemini on the front end, I can't recommend it to people, but I cannot recommend NotebookLM enough. This is one of my favorite AI tools I've ever used. I've used more than 1,000 in the last year or two. You can't sleep on this, especially with this new update of being able to add links to add links to web pages, YouTube videos, uploading MP3s, as well as this other feature that I already did a review on, the ability to then create a podcast from all your documents. Amazing. All right. I hope this was helpful. I know this was a longer one, but you can't sleep on this. You have to go use NotebookLM now, right? Before Google, I mean, I hope they don't squash it or, try to roll this into Gemini and it doesn't work. Go use NotebookLM now. As it is now, it is so incredibly powerful. All right. If this was helpful, please let me know. Go to youreverydayai.com, sign up for that free daily newsletter. Please subscribe to this channel. Let me know, what else do you want to see? All right. I'll see you again for another AI in 5 or AI in 20-ish. Thanks, y'all.